This fat guy is a star chaser. The house is full of Stormfront's figures. He killed invisible and innocent passers-by for Stormfront. If he knew that Stormfront was a 100-year-old rich woman, he might have a neurological disorder. Moreover, people supported Stormfront a lot. She participated in the speech with Homelander like Superman against bad guys, made a fuss about the terrorist incident, wanted to legalize Compound V, claimed that the world needs more superheroes. Homelander also announced the existence of the traitor Starlight in the Seven, planned and murdered Translucent, claimed that Starlight was raised by terrorists. Her mind is full of hatred for the world. The actions of Homelander were very fast. Having just announced here, Starlight was already being ambushed by Black Noir. Homelander was going to kill Starlight directly, but Stormfront felt that leaving a target makes it easier to gain the cohesion of the masses. Because Lamplighter concentrated on conscience, he just came here and sent the Buddha to the west. He agreed to attend the hearing, was ready to make Vort's dark history public. But he was such an important witness, the screenwriter only left Huey, a feckless guy, to protect him. That definitely means that Lamplighter will not be able to survive. Sure enough, they turned on the TV, saw the news that Starlight was caught. What can Huey do? Feckless people always have their own way. After a few words, he persuaded Lamplighter to save the Starlight. They just broke into the Vort's building. Lamplighter had retired for so many years, the system could actually recognize his palm prints. Two people were unhindered. They reached the Seven's tower on the top floor from the back door, smoothly came to the luxurious meeting room of the Seven. Lamplighter stared blankly at the statue of the Seven. He was no longer visible above. People cared more about the previous glory than saving Lamplighter. The Lamplighter was no longer ready to live. But if you let him choose where to die, he would rather die in a place that once made him proud. It's also the meeting room of the Seven. In an instant, a ball of flames quickly swept across the body of Lamplighter. The Lamplighter burned himself. Huey was completely stupid. What should I do if you are depressed and committed suicide? But fortunately, the self-immolation of Lamplighter was not in vain. The smoke alarm was triggered. The whole building rang a fire alarm bell. Starlight in the room could not wash hands and use the light energy. As the fire lighted up, her body had strength again, broke out with a roar. At the key moment of defeating Vought Company, the witness killed himself. I have to say that the editor is good at playing. Then, the boys was gathered, only the Billy Butcher was missing. Grace Mallory called and asked him to come back to discuss countermeasures, but she didn't expect to hear good news from Billy. Don't worry, Lamplighter is dead. A more favorable witness decided to appear. It turned out that Billy went to Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum's house. Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum was the chief researcher of Vought Group, also the creator of Homelander. Billy was a pure bastard. He took away Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum's family directly and forced him to testify in court. Finally he arrived at the national hearing of Vought Group. After getting an important witness, Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum, everyone in the boys was full of confidence. Today Vought Group absolutely have a big surprise. In the grand music, Jonah Vogelbaum entered the venue in a wheelchair. He raised his right hand and took the oath. The judge made a vow that he would speak for 5 minutes. The boys in front of the TV was stunned. The hall was attacked by a mysterious headshot. It turned into the inexplicable horror of the cold, bloody hearing. The headshot quickly fermented, put the whole nation into panic. Everyone knew that the Vought Group had done it, but no one had any evidence. Not only did the reputation of the Vought Group not receive a blow, instead, it further promoted the legalization of Compound V. Government of USA signed a large number of orders at a price of $5 million. Vought Group's share price was rising. Stormfront and Homelander completely won this time. The two people thought they were the right hands of the big boss Stan Edgar. Whether it's from the outside or the inside, the prestige of Stan was completely established. And the protagonist group had become a mess of porridge. Everyone was collecting weapons as much as possible. They had no retreat, wanted to take down the Vought Group by formal means. Then they can only do a big fight with the superhumans. Killing one is enough, and killing both earns one. But Huey and Starlight still didn't want to give up. After they thought about it, they thought of the last person. That's the Queen Maeve. If they can persuade her to join the new round of hearings, they may prevent the legalization of Compound V. Unsurprisingly, Queen Maeve flatly refused. Going to mess with the Vought Group is simply seeking a dead end. And Billy's unkempt wife Becca Butcher came to the door. Homelander's son Ryan Butcher inherited many powerful abilities. After Ryan Butcher was snatched by Homelander, Billy's wife had to ask the boys for help. Billy was obliged to find his son for his wife. But he still had his own plans. This child had a special identity, can't be stably left with his wife. It's better to be a good friend with boss Stan Edgar. After discussing in detail, Stan readily agreed. He would provide the whereabouts of Homelander. The boys had to steal Ryan and handed it over to Vought Group. The CEO Stan let his wife be free. For the mother-child relationship between his wife and Ryan, Billy found a reason to deceive it. So that Billy could start a new life with his wife. CEO Stan also got the bargaining chip to check and balance Homelander. At this time Ryan was placed in a safe house. Homelander and the Stormfront were playing with him. Asking colleagues to deal with two powerful superhumans means going into the tiger's den. When they were worried, a train brought good news. He re-entered the Seven in order to bring down Homelander and Stormfront. Stole Stormfront's file from the company. There were a lot of Stormfront's black material inside. The enemy of the enemy is the friend. These black materials quickly spread to the big media. Stormfront in the safe house was instantly dumbfounded. Can't wait to fly away to deal with these things. Billy also started to act here, used the frequency sound to notice Homelander. Then Billy and his wife drove to the safe house, smoothly brought Ryan. But having just driven out, Stormfront suddenly came back from the sky. Although Stormfront was exposed to her identity, she lost her mind for a while. But it quickly turned out to be a tactic of adjusting the tiger away from the mountain. Stormfront chased in the direction of Billy. Her last efforts fell in front of them. Deal with two mortals is too enough. Billy was directly electricsed. Then her backhand strangled his wife's throat. Watching my mother get beaten, Ryan raised his eyes in anger. I never expected Ryan's laser eyes to be so fierce. It's a pity that Ryan, who used superpowers for the first time, couldn't avoid hurting his mother by mistake at this time. Homelander were also catching up. He initially wanted to kill. Queen Maeve, jumping out from somewhere, took out the video she found in the previous episode. After all, Homelander can't let go of the feeling of admiration by thousands of people, also can't help being an enemy of the whole world. He can only compromise in the end. At the end of the story, Stormfront became the only perpetrator. She attacked the hearing. The release of Compound Number 5 had been postponed indefinitely. This fight for the rights of the Vought group come to an end with the victory of CEO Stan. He wiped out the danger of Stormfront. And Homelander still acted as the most powerful Superman, was ordered by the others, really became a puppet of the Vought group.